Hi viewers, welcome back. So this is my third video on my lecture series for Limited Insolvency Examination Guide, and I hope you have seen my earlier two videos. And I presume if you are on this video, then you have make up your mind to give this examination. So without any further delay, I will start on today's topic. So today's topic is the Structure of Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code 2016. So I thought before we jump into the provisions of the law, we should first understand what is the structure of the code. Okay, so I have prepared this diagrammatic representation of IBC for you. Okay, in which there are 5 parts. So IBC contains 5 parts. Okay, so part 1 has section 1, 2 and 3. Part 2, 7 chapters and section 4 to 77. Then part 3, again 7 chapters, section 78 to 187. Then part 4, 7 chapters, section 188 to 223. And part 5 with no chapters but sections 224 to 255. So overall 255 sections we have to read. And as I have also informed you earlier in my earlier videos, that some parts of this IBC are yet to be notified, but the entire code forms the part of the syllabus. Okay, so we have to read all the sections of IBC. Okay, so below is the tabular representation of IBC, just for your ease of reference to make you understand better how the IBC flows. Okay, so part 1 is preliminary. It has section 1, 2 and 3. So it starts with short title, commencement, applicability and the definitions. So section 3 has definitions which are applicable to the entire code. Okay. Then let's move to part 2. Part 2 is insolvency resolution and liquidation for corporate persons. This part is very important as far as limited insolvency examination is concerned. So we have to read all these sections very carefully. So chapter 1, preliminary, again applicability and definitions. So this part will have its own definitions in section 5, okay, which will apply to the terms used in this part. So we have to read all these very carefully. Chapter 2, corporate insolvency resolution process, section 6 to 32. This chapter is very important because all the principles or major concepts of the insolvency resolution process for corporate persons are mentioned in these sections. Okay. Chapter 3, liquidation process, section 33 to 54. Chapter 4, fast track CIRP, section 55 to 58. There are some provisions for fast track CIRP. We will read when they apply and who can apply for these fast track CIRPs. Chapter 5, voluntary liquidation of corporate persons, section 59. Then chapter 6, adjudicating authority for corporate persons, section 60 to 67. Adjudicating authority for corporate persons is NCT. Okay. And chapter 7, offenses and penalties, section 68 to 77. So part 2 starts from section 277. Okay. Now these are the corresponding rules and regulations. If you remember in my earlier video, I have told you that along with the sections, we have to read the corresponding rules and regulations to understand what is the law and what is the complete set of procedure to be followed. Okay. So the first is the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Application to Adjudicating Authority Rules 2016. These rules will have the formats and application, how the application is to be made to the adjudicating authority, what is the procedure. So these rules will guide us on those aspects. Then the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India Insolvency Resolution Process for Corporate Person. These regulations will contain the full process of insolvency resolution. Okay, so this regulation is very important from the exam point of view. Then Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India Liquidation Process Regulation. So this will have liquidation process. So if the resolution plan is not approved by COC, then the corporate debtor goes into liquidation and the process is given in this regulation. Then the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India voluntary liquidation process. So in case of voluntary liquidation, this regulation will apply. Okay. The Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India fast track insolvency resolution process for corporate persons regulations. So in case of fast track insolvency resolution, we have to refer these regulations along with chapter 4. Okay. So these are the rules and regulations for part 2. Let's move on to part 3. Part 3 is for insolvency resolution and bankruptcy for individuals and partnership firms. Okay. So you have to understand, we use bankruptcy word for individuals and partnership firm, and we use word liquidation for corporate persons. Okay. We will read it in little detail in my next lecture. So part 3, chapter 1 has preliminary, section 78 and 79. Chapter 3, fresh start process, 80 to 93. Chapter 3, insolvency resolution process, 94 to 120. Then chapter 4, bankruptcy orders for individuals and partnership firms, 121 to 148. Then chapter 5, administration and distribution of assets of the bankrupt, section 149 to 178. Chapter 6, adjudicating authority for individuals and partnership firm, section 179 to 183. Adjudicating authority for individuals and partnership firms is DRT, Debt Recovery Tribunal. Okay. Chapter 7, offenses and penalties, 184 to 187. Okay. So I reiterate, this part is yet to be notified, but as far as exam is concerned, we have to read all these sections from section 78 to 187. Then part 4, regulation of insolvency professionals, insolvency professional agencies and information utilities. So chapter 1 is about Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India. So how it is formed, what is composition, we'll read in section 188 to 195. Then powers and functions of the board in chapter 2. Chapter 3 talks about the insolvency professional agencies, which I have told you in my first lecture. So there are 3 insolvency professional agencies. Please go back to my lecture video 1 and then you can find out. Chapter 4, insolvency professionals, section 206 to 208. This is important as far as we are concerned because we will become insolvency professionals. So we should know what are the provisions in IBC for insolvency professionals. Then chapter 5, information utility. This is also very important because now government is focusing on information utility. And this will be, you can say, a very big thing in future. Just now there's only one information utility, but in future it may increase. So we have to be very thorough with these provisions. Chapter 6, inspection and investigation. So inspection and investigation provisions for these 3 agencies. So and it will be governed by the board. So board will have powers of inspection and investigations for these 3 agencies. Then chapter 7, finance, accounts and audit, 221 to 223. This chapter talks about the finance for board and how to maintain the accounts and the audit procedure, all that things. Now these are the corresponding rules and regulations for part 4. Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India, insolvency professional agencies, similar regulations for information utility and for insolvency professionals. Okay. And the last one is the inspection and investigation regulations. Okay. So if you see, along with the sections, the corresponding regulations are given. So we have to read the sections in tandem with the regulation to understand the complete law. Okay. Then chapter 5, miscellaneous, no chapters, with section 224 to 255. Okay. So this is the brief structure of the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. And wherever you see these stamps, I hope you will understand that either that provision or that paragraph is important from concept point of view or from exam point of view. So you have to pay more attention whenever you see these stamps in my notes. Okay. So this was the structure of IBC. So in the next lecture, I will be starting with the background of the IBC. So before we jump into the law, we should know what is the background, how that law came into picture, what was the idea, what was the object of that law, to understand and to have the grip on the subject, so that you will be able to understand the provisions in context with the objects, what was had in the mind of the legislators when it was enacted. Okay. And I want to mention one more point here, that it may possible that I will not be going through each and every provisions in all the parts, because few parts are very important, like part 2 is very important. So we will be studying all the sections word by word, but in other parts I may not be able to take you through the word to word Bear Act. So you will have to study your own. Okay, I have my Telegram channel. So I will be posting the link of my Telegram channel in the description of this video. So you are free to join there and you are free to discuss and raise any queries in that group so that we will discuss there and we try to finish our syllabus as fast as possible. As you all know, the syllabus is very vast of limited insolvency examination. Okay, and please remember we will be studying from the Bear Act. I will not be preparing any presentations. I have my notes prepared. I have my markings on the Bear Act, which I will be presenting here. And it is our duty, or you say as a professional, we should know how to study the Bear Act. So I will present you that how to study the Bear Acts, and we will go word by word. And yes, I have my notes prepared in PDF formats, but as I've also said that I will be sharing those notes when I reach at least 500 subscribers on my channel. So please help me reach that level. And needless to say, yes, please do comment, like, and share with your friends and colleagues, and tell them to subscribe and hit the notification button so that you will be updated with my new videos every time. Okay, so that's all from my today's video. See you again. Bye. Take care.